All right. Hey, everyone. Um, how's everyone doing? Thanks for joining me today. Let me just get this thing started. Sorry, I'm running a little bit behind. A lot of technical problems today. All right. So anyway, hey, so thanks for joining me. This is Mark Principato, Mark P Markets. Again, in this stream, if you're new to the stream, I'm basically going to look for Bitcoin day trades, okay? And at the same time, we're going to evaluate the larger time frame and see what kind of changes are taking place, over the week. Again, today is Monday, so you should be checking out your economic calendar. And with all that being said, let's just jump right into this, okay? So this is for educational purposes only. For investment advice, please consult a licensed investment advisor. All right, cool. And again, thank you all for joining me. Let me remove that slide. Hold on a second. Yeah, like I said, I'm really running behind today. All right, so a couple of quick announcements. Number one, for people that are in my community, my Discord community, I had a number of people sign up for the premium subscriptions, but the thing is, there's a conflict in my payment processor. So what that means is people the payments have not gone through, and I need to remove the 7-day free trial in order for this to work properly. I can't have an auto canceling thing and a 7-day free trial. One of those settings has to go. It's going to be the 7-day free trial. So what that means is if you registered over the previous Sunday or Monday, your payment has not gone through, which also means you're going to get kicked out of the server. Okay, you're going to lose the permissions. So I'm going to reach out to you specifically and ask you to process that again. But let me reach out first because I need to make the changes in the payment processor. I've also have a conflict with some security settings in the Discord server. It's a big mess. Let's just put it that way. All right, so I'm just letting you know because some people may be kicked out and they're going to be wondering why. And just so you know, no payments have gone through. Okay, so at least that's, you don't have to worry about, where's my money? No money was transferred. Okay. All right, so with that, let's move on to the next thing. I am sponsored by 8Cap Partners. Now, they're not going to sponsor me for December, okay? So just letting you know, I haven't exactly brought in enough business for them. I can understand their position very well. So just so you know that, but I'm still going to be an affiliate for them. And, so the deal pretty much as far as right now, if you want my training program for free, you can sign up with 8Cap. They're an Australian broker, Forex broker dealer. They also trade CFDs. They have a couple of spread categories that you can trade through. They also they have to rebuild their integration with TradingView, or they have to make some kind of adjustment. So at this moment, you cannot trade through TradingView, but they're going to reintegrate that. So that should work again soon. Otherwise, you have to use the MetaTrader platform, which I'm actually going to be showing some examples here with that platform. So you guys can see actually how that works in the eyes of putting on real trades, putting on trades with orders and all that kind of stuff. The only redeeming factor, I think, of MetaTrader is the order entry, because I'm not a big fan of the charting. I like the TradingView charts, obviously. All right. So anyway, so that being said, if you're interested in my training program for free, you should sign up with 8Cap as soon as possible. That's non-US, okay? Because that deal is not going to be available in December, okay? Just so you know. All right. Also, and if you're not in my Discord community, make sure you join it. All these links are in the description portion of this video. Please join the community. There's a free section. I'm no longer going to have a 7-day free trial, okay? Just like I finished explaining. No more 7-day free trial, but you can still get a sense of what's going on. For one, I stream here every day. So if you want to have an idea of what kind of trades I'm taking or whatever, I'm going to review some of those here. Also, there's a trade history channel that's available to all free members. They can see when a trade is closed, whether it's a win or loss, it's going to go on that channel. I have to update the channel. There's 2 trades that are missing from that channel, but they're both winning trades. So it's not like I'm trying to hide losing trades. I'm going to put them in the channel, and that's basically going to be where you can get a sense of, is this signal service a good fit for you or not? Okay, so no more 7-day free trial. It's technical limitations. What am I going to do? I tried. All right, now it's a big mess for me. I got to spend the rest of the day on top of, I have to do another stream at 3 o'clock, and then I got to spend the rest of the day repairing that mess. All right, anyway, so you guys don't need to know my problems. All right, Armin, I have to change your membership too. You're another guy. I need to, I haven't forgotten about you. All right. So anyway, okay. Has said we're only, okay. Payment in Visa overview says reserved. Only, okay. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But hon, I've had security problems with your account. So, and I think where is he? Is he here too? Joel, no, I don't see him. Okay. So I've been having problems with conflicts with the security bot and all kinds of other things. So you may have been kicked out again because I had to change something. Anyway, all right. So let's get this started here. So first thing is we're going to look at Bitcoin, right, from the day trade perspective. Now, look, all these old levels, right, from the previous session are still on the chart. As you can see, I mean, upper levels are no longer relevant. Okay, what's going on here? Can you guys? Okay. So the upper levels are still relevant, but as you can see, the lower level here, right, this lower level that I drew on this chart is still, look at that, it's still relevant. That's why these levels are very important, these horizontal trend lines. And again, that's something I go over in my training program, but they can be important, especially when you're looking for some sort of intraday idea, okay, like a day trade. And they serve as very good reference points, but they're not the only thing. We do have to look at a couple of other things, like the general structure, okay? What do I see here? Lower highs, right? Lower lows. So, I mean, for those of you that are students, what do you think that means? Anyone want to tell me? This is the interactive portion of the stream. If I see lower highs all over the place, okay, this is a 30-minute chart, by the way. Yeah, so what does that make reasonable? How does that set our expectations in a reasonable way? Can anyone tell me? You guys should be able to answer that question. Some of you here should be able to answer that very easily. What does that mean? How should we set our expectations for intraday? What side should we lean toward? What side should we expect a little more out of? Bill got it. Bearish. If we see lower highs and lower lows all over the place, except for right now, this is still a lower high. Okay, this section right here, let me draw a little rectangle there. This is a lower high. All right, so it's a double top, and on top of that, it's a potential lower high, which means the lower low is favored. It doesn't mean we're going to get the lower low. Don't jump to any conclusions, but it means we should be leaning toward that side, which means if we see long signals when we get to the smaller time frame, we should expect less from them, and we should expect them to fail. We should expect conflicting signals right away. We shouldn't expect much out of that. If we see a short signal, we should be willing to give it more of a chance. If we get stopped out of a short signal and another one shows up, we should be willing to give that one a chance until the structure changes, okay? So that's how the mindset becomes set. Now, there's a lot more that goes into that. Again, that comes with training and learning how to put these puzzle pieces together. This is why it's so important to keep things as simple as possible and not waste your time with complexity, because this process that I'm describing here is complex enough. Okay, so that's basically what our intraday bigger picture is. When it comes to intraday, forget the daily chart. I mean, the daily chart is not going to really be in play when it comes to intraday momentum, because intraday things can change very quickly. Like, for example, this area here, this movement here could have been along. My screen keeps going off here. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing that. Anyway, this type of movement over here could be an actual, can be a long possibility, right? So even though the bigger picture says bearish, so you have to understand, don't be confused by that. How you separate that is keep the intraday information separate from the bigger picture. Don't mix the two, because you will be confused when you have a general bearish trend on the bigger picture and a very temporary bullish movement on the smaller picture. Separate the two, okay? Because if you sit there with a bearish opinion, like, well, the bigger picture is bearish, so I'm just going to short everything, you can get squeezed really hard in one of these moves, especially if there's like 1,000-point or 2,000-point move, which could be a rational short squeeze. It's very reasonable on the bigger picture, and you're sitting there stuck in a day trade because you're opinionated. You become opinionated from the bigger picture. Do not become opinionated. All right, you have to think on both sides, especially as a day trader. Most people, they think the day trader is glamorous. They think all that stuff. This is the absolutely wrong place to start if you're a beginner. Absolutely wrong place to start. You will lose all of your money if you start out this way, but people want to see it, so I show it. Okay, you have to understand, I have a lot of experience, and I understand everything that can go wrong on this time frame. So with all that talk being said, let's go to our 5 minute. Now on the 5 minute, I'm going to switch over to a different chart. Let's go to, we're going to go to Bitcoin perp, right? And we're going to go to our Binance chart. Now there's a sell signal that's in play right now. All right, so let's see if we can, what we can do with this, because it's kind of running away here. 16,181. All right, 16,165. I mean, I'm just going to have to go with that because this is the signal. So let's say, what's the price right? 162 short. Okay, that's the price. 162. Now, when I have the platform up, I'm going to just put a little line there just to mark that price. When I have the platform up, I'll actually be able to place that order. In this case, because it's going so quickly, I mean, look, why am I making this judgment so quickly? Well, we're coming off resistance. It's a lower high. It's a sell signal, okay? If this was like the middle of the range somewhere, I wouldn't be so quick to make such a decision. All right, but in this case, look, this is the problem when you chase it a little bit. You have to deal with this. But you know, I want to be able to look at other charts, and I can't sit here and babysit this thing. So that's it. Okay, so 162 is the price that we're in from. Again, this is on paper. I don't even have a paper platform up here. So please trade this paper. Don't take this for real. This is for educational purposes. All right. So our stop is going to have to go up here somewhere. We're going to have to give that thing some room. Don't put it right here at this high. What is that? 217. It's a little too tight. Okay. So 162 to 217. What is that? Like 50 or 60 points? Let me know if my screen keeps going off, because I'm seeing some problems here. I'm going to try refreshing. Hopefully I don't get kicked out. If I get kicked out, just give me a minute to come back in, but I don't like what's going on here on this other screen. Let me just refresh this, okay? All right, guys. Okay, so my screen came off. What a pain. Okay, sorry, guys. I got to do this again. Nothing but, okay, there we go. Nothing but trouble today. Okay, nice way to start the week. So, all right, so you guys can still hear me, right? You guys can still hear me? You guys can still see me? So just give me a yes real quick. And I'm going to look at some of these questions here. Anyone, you guys can still see me? I know there's a little bit of a delay. Okay, cool. All right, so now, again, here's the thing. So we're in this trade. We have our general stop area, right? Where's the target? Well, if I'm risking, again, what is that? 162. So again, we're gonna say it's 60 points, all right? 60 points of risk, which isn't horrible intraday. I'm used to taking much greater risk. I don't day trade Bitcoin. I day trade S&Ps, but I've experimented lots with Bitcoin, and the concepts are the same. Okay, so and I plan to actually do some real trades in this thing once I have a few things ironed out. But the point is this: where should our profit target be? Well, at least, at minimum, 60 points. Okay, so let's see, where is that on this chart here? This is what is this? 132. So that's about 30 points. So what's this over here? 16 even. So, and we're in from what was that price? 160, right? Basically 161. So we need this thing to go here, basically, right? That right there, that rectangle that I drew there, that's 1-to-1 reward risk. That's basically what that is. Okay, I'm risking about 60 points. So let's see. Let me just look at this high over here again. 243. We're going to put that up here. So we're just going to keep it at 60 points, okay? Which is basically, what's this high here? 217. That's actually right here. All right, so we're going to have to just deal with that for now. And we need to make at least 60 points. It's just funny how, you know, this from where it is now to here, let me just draw a box, right? This to this is basically the stop, right? Around there, about basically that. So this becomes like one, that should be 1-to-1 reward risk. Low is 140, but it's not, right? I need 60 pips. That this is only 20. That's strange, right? Anyway, unless I'm counting something wrong here, it could be. Anyway, let's just leave this target here for now. We want to see that. All right, the candle just closed slightly below our entry. We're just going to have to let that thing. We're going to have to see how the next candle goes. But like we said, the 30-minute chart favors the bearish side, and there's nothing but, I mean, look at all this resistance up here. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so we're going to monitor that. Yeah, 161. Right, and if I'm taking it off here, this is nothing over here. All right, anyway, we'll see how that goes. Let's now take a look at the bigger picture stuff while we're monitoring that. And basically, this is what I want to do. I want to basically get into the day trade first, during these streams. And then I want to, then while we're waiting for the day trade to do something, we have time to talk about the bigger picture. By the way, I put out a TradingView article yesterday. I hope you read it. Let me take a look at some of these comments here. Okay, and I want to extend my premium plan. I want to start in the metals coming year. What market data is worthwhile to pay for an extra? Well, you can actually, I don't know what they charge you for that. I don't know if it's the same for everyone else. But COMEX, I mean, COMEX is the metals exchange, gold, silver, all that other stuff. So I don't know how much extra that would cost you. But to be honest, I mean, are you looking to trade metals futures, or can you, because you're non-US, you actually have access to the CFDs, which don't cost anything. You can look at XAU USD. You don't need the COMEX feed for that. Okay, you can look at XAG USD, which is silver. You can look at the CFDs, cost nothing. Only US customers are restricted by that. So you don't actually need the COMEX feed. Okay, just so you know. So you may not have to spend that extra money. All right. So I hope that clears things up for you. But that would basically, if you're looking for metals, you're looking at the COMEX, all right, which is the New York Mercantile Exchange, or whatever. Yeah. So your stream is okay. Just some slight buffering. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. TV extra data. U.S. stock market data is real time. Okay. This is slightly okay. Right. Well, because the BZX is not the same thing. Like if you want NASDAQ data from the NASDAQ, you have to go through that. Maybe TradingView, their support maybe better answer that question than me. But if you're non-US, you really don't need a lot of that. Okay, it's really for US people, especially if you're going to be in the futures markets. Then that's another story, because the CFD is going to be off as far as pricing and other things. So you want to be more precise with the price. But as far as, so you have to tell me what you're more interested in. Okay, but again, that's for futures. So if you're not going to trade gold futures, then COMEX may be spending money that you don't have to spend. All right, so just research that a little further and decide, is it the CFD that's a better choice for you, or are you interested in the futures? Okay. If you would like to get real-time data, all right, you can add this data, right? Right. So again, it depends on what you're looking for. Because again, even with the NASDAQ and all that other stuff, you can also trade CFDs. Right? I mean, I look at the NSX all the time on here, and the prices are a little off. They're not the same. But if you're not going to actually trade stocks or the actual U.S. markets, then you can actually get away with the CFDs. All right, and they don't cost anything. But they get you on the spread, of course. That's the pain, and that's the pain with them. But if you're non-US, I mean, again, you have to be specific on what instruments you're looking to trade. Okay, cool. Got you guys. All right, no problem. No problem. All right, so let's take a look at some of the markets here while we're watching that Bitcoin trade do its thing. All right, and if you guys have any questions, let me know. So we're going to start with ZN. Right, always take a look at the bond market. What's going on here? All right, so bond market. Now, one thing I have to point out before I say anything else is that this is a holiday week. Okay, here in the U.S. on Thursday, it's Thanksgiving, and typically, like I'm going to stream till Wednesday. I'm not going to stream on Thursday. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to stream on Friday. Okay, In fact, I may not do this stream on Wednesday because on Wednesday afternoon I have my student meeting, okay, my monthly meeting, and that's going to be in the afternoon. So I'm going to tell you why. Why am I going to take this time off? Because it's not worth looking at. During this particular week, I've seen this week over and over and over for many, many years, okay? Usually volume dries up, and if the market is going to be optimistic, you're likely to see a slow grind. Slow grinds are miserable markets, because here's why. If you buy into one, first of all, it never pulls back, right? Like, for example, like the NASDAQ, it never pulls back, and you're never sure if you're buying the high or not. And it may pull back like a tiny bit, scare you out, and then just continue higher. Don't make the mistake of shorting something like that. It's just not worthwhile. It's not worth even watching. Okay, so most likely this week I'm not going to have any swing trades. By the way, my euro is doing okay when I checked before, my euro short that I put out. But my point is, please keep that in mind this week. If you're looking to take some time off, this would be a good week to take some time off and do some research and make some plans as far as like your investments. And this is a good week for that, not for trades. Okay, I'm just letting you know. So, like I said, probably Wednesday to Friday, I'm probably going to be off. I'm definitely Thursday and Friday. Don't even bother. Don't even look for me. Okay. So anyway, let's talk about this bond market situation. So look, the bonds rejected this resistance, and as you can see, right, there's a little hesitation here. But after what I just said, the reason why I mentioned all that is because this information right here, this is just useless information. It's meaningless. It's just noise. All right. The only factual information or relevant or actionable information here is the fact that the resistance is rejected. I don't expect much this week as far as catalysts go. So this is probably going to just waste a lot of time and do a lot of nothing. You may even see a little bullish price action. Do not be confused by it. It's not meaningful. Okay. Especially this week. It's not meaningful. All right. So, if we have some kind of really dramatic move going into next week, and next week we're seeing that, a push up there, then that would be a little more meaningful. And I'll note that, and I'll start to factor that into my outlook. But until I see something like that, this is just bearish. I consider this bearish. Don't get obsessed with, oh, look, higher low, blah, blah, blah. Don't get obsessed with that. Again, people focus in too narrowly. You have to keep in mind the bigger picture. You have to keep in mind the Federal Reserve's perspective and what they've told the market, because they're very careful on what they say, and they don't seem to change a lot, right? So if they're going to stick on their rising rate agenda, that's not exactly encouraging for this, okay? So please keep that in mind. I'm anticipating a test of low, or at least some sort of higher low on this thing, which means it's got some lower prices to show us, right? Possibly. That's what I believe it's leaning toward. I could be wrong, but until it proves otherwise, I'm going to suspect that rates are going to continue to rise, or at least stabilize around where they are. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. That's the bond market. All right, so overall, there's really nothing to say about it. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. All right, so this is the CFD, hon. So, again, this doesn't cost anything to look at or use. You can trade this. You can trade this, and it doesn't cost anything. Of course, there's spreads involved, though. Same situation with the NASDAQ, okay? Coming off that resistance, anyone that got sucked into this nonsense, you're just mindless. And if you got sucked into that, you're mindless, and you're incapable of controlling yourself. I don't know what else to tell you. I can't help you with that, okay? There was no reason to be long. All right, this stimulates everyone. This gets everyone excited. And you go right into a resistance, you buy it at the worst possible price. That's what occurred there. And now, if you're in that, you could be in a stock that's showing the same type of pattern, because this is a reflection of 100 stocks right here. You're in from a bad price, and now you've taken all this risk. Okay, that's all risk that you have taken, whether you like it or not. That's the risk you've taken. Unless you get out, this thing can test the midpoint. This thing can test the low. I don't know about this week, though, because again, low volume means not a whole lot of progress typically. So it looks weak at the moment. No reason to get excited. This candle may close as a doji today. I would not be surprised. Okay, so again, don't expect much. I would be anticipating, a test of, like I said, midpoint or low, which means not a great time to be buying stocks, not a great time to be getting into swing trades, because you're still in a very risky area. I don't care if buy signals show up. There's a pullback, though. it's a pullback, but this is not a bullish trend. That's the thing. Yes, it is. You look at a 1 hour chart. Yeah, okay. So if you want to call that little section a bullish trend, that's a possibility. But if this thing's going to rally, I mean, you're only looking at like something like that maybe before it gives you a hard time again. It's not worth it. Okay. There's too much risk here. It's just not worth it. So that's the NASDAQ situation. Nothing special there. All right. So we have our 5-minute inside bar on Bitcoin. That is a potential buy signal. That's a conflicting signal. Let me see. Let me think about this for a minute. Well, so like I said before, I'm going to stick to our. That's a minor support. I'm going to stick to our original concept of we should give shorts a chance. So this thing is still a little green, right? Short from 161, things at 150. So I'm not gonna rush out of this, even though it's a conflicting signal, because the 30-minute that we evaluated leans on the short side. So let's see how this goes. This may turn into a loss, but let's see how it goes. I'm giving it a chance because that's what the 30-minute suggests. Okay, I don't trade on my own opinions. I listen to the market. The market tells me what it suggests, and then I follow it. People that think, well, I know this, you're only fooling yourself. Okay, so that's the NASDAQ. Let's move along now. Let's take a look at the dollar index. Okay, dollar index. Now, this is no surprise. We saw this one coming, right? We talk about this. I talk about the dollar every day. This thing is coming off of a higher low in a broader bullish trend. Now, is the dollar going to make a new high? I don't know. I don't pretend to know. Anyone that pretends to know the future is lying to you. Okay? So unless they're a U.S. senator or something, they somehow know the future. But, yeah, I'm getting political now. But the thing is, we don't know the future. This thing has a decent possibility of testing the high. That would be a big move on the euro, by the way. All right. But the thing is, the buy signal here came into effect, right? And I shorted the euro on that idea, as I said I would. And I think I sent that out on Thursday, I believe it was. And now, that trade is working out a little bit. This thing is working its way higher. There's no reason to do anything here. Okay, just let that thing run, let that thing do its job. And the first resistance is here, right? So if this thing is going to produce a lower high, I'm anticipating the lower high to develop here, right? So we got a little room to play with there, right? So we'll see how that goes, right? So I'm still bullish on the dollar. I don't see any reason to do anything else. So speaking of that, let's take a look at the euro. Okay, and there's my euro short. Let's talk about that real quick. Right, so for people, again, interested in my Discord channel, I shared that short. I think it was on Thursday. It was based on this pin bar situation right here. You have a few candles there, pin bar, inside bar situation, right? The short, the actual entry price was 103.30. At the time when I put that order out, euro was at 103.70. So there was 40 pips of play, 40 pips of leeway in there. There was plenty of time to get into that trade. That trade was sent out in advance. So all you have to do is put the order in, right? Put the stop order in and let the market tap you in. It tapped in eventually. All right, there was a little pain involved, not a whole lot. And now this thing is almost 100, what's 90 pips in my favor now. So that's what you want to see, right? You want to see the break and you want to see an extension like this. But again, this is the inverse of the dollar. Right, so the supports I'm targeting is this area. Again, this was all called in the signal channel, right? So again, you don't need a free trial. I'm telling you exactly what happened here, and plenty of people here can confirm that. I'm sure some people are in. I know Steen is probably in that. Hopefully you're in that, Steen. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. This can still turn the wrong way. This thing can still be a problem. But as long as it continues to look like that, there's nothing to do but let that thing do its job. All right, makes sense, you guys? So I'm happy to see that. And again, that's the euro. Now let me see what other questions I have here. Okay. Time off is good. Well, guys, when I say time off, it just means time off from this particular task. I'm going to be working. I don't take time off. I have other things that I've been just putting on the side because other things take priority. Now I have to go back to those old things, like working on some YouTube details and all kinds of other things that I have to do. I have to fix my whole payment processing thing. I have to send out an email for Cyber Monday. I got a lot of other things I have to do. So I don't take actual breaks. So don't think, oh, he's going to go to the beach or something, or he's going to do something nice. No, I don't do anything nice. Not really. Okay, I jog. That's my break sometimes. All right. Anyway, okay, cool. Oh, cool, Steve. Cool. With 2 positions, nice. So Steve, if you have 2 lots, again, that's a nice thing, because you know what? When it starts to push like the target area, you get out of one, right? Don't even question it. Just take the money. And then if it's not giving you a problem, you just let the other one run. And that's where you can capture a 300 or 400 pip move when you have a runner like that. But meanwhile, if it turns the wrong way, here's the great thing about having a runner. If you have 2 contracts, and I'm going to show you that when I put up the thing here for Bitcoin. When you have a runner, you have 2 contracts, you close one at your anticipated target, right? Which is good reward risk. That was the whole plan in advance. Okay. But now that runner runs, right? Now, if the market gives you a hard time, you have a lot of flexibility now with that runner, because if you close that runner, let's just say worst case, you close that runner for break even, you still made money on the first one. So the trade is still green. And you gave the market a chance to pay you more. There will be occasions where the market just runs and you have that runner. And now you lock in the first one, and now that second one may be worth 2 to 1 or maybe 3 to 1 reward risk. Okay. And that's where home runs come from. Okay. They're rare. You can't expect that all the time, but having 2 contracts gives you that flexibility. Okay. And that's, again, everyone wants the home run, but no one understands that, you can't expect them most of the time. But it's nice when you can let the market, you're open for the market to pay you. Okay. And that really can only be done with multiple contracts. It's very hard to do with one lot or whatever. It's very hard to do that. That's why you're better off taking your money most of the time, because you can expect those big runs. Anyway, all right, so cool. I'm glad to hear that. All right, so that's the euro situation. Now let's see what time it is. Okay, I'm going to give this a few more minutes. Let's go back to our Bitcoin situation here. I mean, look, I gave this thing a chance, and this thing is still giving me a hard time. I'm not too happy about this candle. Let's get how much time do we got here? All right, this is 3 minutes before this candle closes. Let's see how that closes. Okay. I may have to take a small loss on this right now. Like, for example, if you don't like this right now, you can get out for a very small profit, or basically consider that a break even, right? I mean, we're short from 161. So if you're getting out at like 150, okay, 10 points, it's not much, but it's better than losing, right? And the market's giving us a hard time. So you're just basically mitigating your risk. We took a chance. It's not behaving as it should, okay, as we expect. There is a support here. That support seems to be, it's being respected for whatever reason. And, while the 30 minutes suggests we should give this a chance, if the thing is going to give you a hard time, this is where your experience and your risk tolerance comes into play. The chart is not going to tell you what to do there. You have to decide. You can't put an oscillator, oh, the oscillator will tell me what to do. The oscillator is always going to steer, most of the time, steer you the wrong way. Okay. So, this is a situation where it's not behaving the way we want it to behave. So that's where, maybe a decision point, but we'll see. All right. So I'm going to give it a little bit more of a chance. We're going to wait till this candle closes. Now, the other thing is, the other mistake to avoid in this situation is to reverse and go long. Because, well, if it's not a short, it must be a long. No, it may not be a long. This thing may be just out of play. This thing may be just, it may fool around and just go a little higher, give us another sell signal, and then that's the one that sells off, right? So don't flip. Sometimes you're going to see, oh, I should have reversed. I would have, right? Don't play that. Don't look back. Oh, I should have done this, because the market is random. Okay, so what you see behind you is not likely to be in front of you. So like if this trade doesn't work out and we have to blow out of it, I'm not going to sit there, okay, reverse and go up. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. Instead, I'm going to see, is this a long? Is this thing going to try to break this resistance? Maybe at that point, if it can clear that resistance, maybe then I would be more open to the long side. Even on the day trade time frame, there's a lot of waiting involved. Okay. Sometimes you're waiting to get in, especially like on a 5-minute chart. You have to understand trade opportunities are not constant. They're isolated and they're infrequent. So you may have to wait an hour. On a 5-minute chart, you may have to wait an hour. And then you may say, okay, well, I'll go to a 1-minute chart then. There's got to be tons of opportunities there. There are many more, but there's also a lot more noise. Okay, here's our candle close. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see how this thing behaves. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the stop here at this point. I'm going to put it at break even. All right, so, and here's why. I normally don't move the stop like that very quickly, but I don't like this situation very much. Okay, so stop will go at 160. Okay, basically that's where the stop will go, 160. So if this thing reverses quickly and goes to 160, we're out. Okay, for basically a 1-point gain. It's a break even. It's not a loss. Now, why am I moving the stop so aggressively? I normally don't suggest moving stops, but the reason why I'm doing that, for one, I don't like the trade idea too much anymore. Now, okay, maybe this red candle will work out for us here, but if I'm getting uncomfortable with the trade idea, I want to start mitigating the risk, right? And I don't care if I get broke. I don't care if it breaks me even. I'm happy to break even. I don't care. It becomes no risk, and that's better for me than watching this thing squeeze real hard and go up 100 points, and now I have to lose 60 points for unnecessarily. You understand? Making money in this game has more to do with how you manage your losses, how to mitigate your losses and your risk, not home runs. If you're new at this, all the things that you think, I'm telling you right now, accept them as wrong, because you're going to go by feel, you're going to go by human nature. That's why you will lose, and you will lose for a long time until you separate yourself from that. Okay, I'm able to see this. If you notice, I have nothing on my charts, right? I have no oscillators. I don't look at any news, nothing. I draw lines, okay? I draw reference points, and then I make judgments based on structure, okay? And I trust the price. That's really like the key to the whole thing. You accept the price. You don't question the price, you accept it. And you're open to its lead. It leads you. You don't lead it. You don't assert your own ideas onto it. It tells you what to do at all times because it knows everything and you know nothing. That's the way you have to go into this, with a very open mind, especially as a day trader. So that's why it's like, okay, it's about mitigating risk. If I can cut risk wherever I can cut risk reasonably, or if I'm not liking the way something is playing out, I'm like, all right, you know what? So I put the stop right there. So if it wants to turn around real quick and stop me out, it's no risk trade right now. Okay, and I'd rather have that than, oh, I left some money on the table. That's greed. If you can't control that, seriously, I will encourage you to quit this game as soon as possible. I encourage people to quit all the time because you're better off. Trust me, you're better off. There are other ways to make money, much easier ways to make money than this game. Some people come into this game with like no money, and like, if you have like a couple $100 or even a couple of $1,000, you think you're going to make money, again, you're only setting yourself up for being fooled. Like, seriously, and that money is going to vanish. It's going to evaporate. So you're better off quitting, making some money somewhere else, and then spending time to educate yourself and start on the academic side and paper trade for a while. That's really, I know it sucks and it's not glamorous, but if you really want to make money at this game, those are the things you have to do. And be prepared to invest 5 years. And that's assuming you're getting quality training, because trial and error, I try to help people avoid the mistake that I made. Okay, I spent 15 years and I had some good, decent experience. I became a CMT, all that other stuff. But even with all that, it still took me 15 years to get over all the lies that I was believing. And it took me 15 years to realize how this game actually works and what role, where I fit into this. Right. And for the longest time, I was fooled. And I don't want you to make that mistake. All right. 15 years by trial and error is miserable. All right. And most people quit way before that. I can't do anything else. So I had to stay with it. And let me tell you, it sucked. All right. Now I have much better results and all that. But again, people think, oh, once you get it, you're just going to make millions of dollars. No, you're not. Once you get it, you're basically going, your losses are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. That's really what's going to happen. And your wins are going to be small, but consistent, right? And when I say small, I'm talking like $25 here, $30 there. Like that sucks, right? Yeah, it does suck, but it's better than losing. Okay. That's when the light bulb goes off. That's what you're looking at. So imagine 15 years in this game, not, I made money in the beginning, but I can't count that. You know why? The environment was, I had a very distinct advantage, two advantages that I wasn't even aware of, right? That's why I was able to make pretty good money in the very beginning as a beginner. I couldn't figure out how. Well, so after 15 years, I figured out how I made that money, and why I can't make money like that again, right? And it had to do with specific inefficiencies, which no longer exist. All right, you can thank payment for order flow and thank market makers for that, and thank the politicians that they have in their pockets. Anyway, so that's that. Okay, cool. So any other questions? I'm going to give this another minute. I have a lot of stuff I have to do today. Any other questions? You guys, how you guys doing out there? You guys have any comments? You like the day trade run so far? I mean, you guys learning this? Tell me some of the things that you've been learning real quick. I'd like to get a little feedback. And as you guys are typing that, again, keep in mind, I'm not going to stream. Most likely, I'll let you know tomorrow for sure, but most likely Wednesday open. I'm not going to stream Wednesday afternoon. I have my student meeting. So all of you students, previous and blah, 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 the link is in the student room, right? So you should have access to that. You have to register for it, so I know who's coming. And please, guys, show up. I don't want just one guy there, because I mean, I had to send Steen a bill for $300. It's a joke. It's an old joke, Steen. I can't help it. So please capitalize on this. Come to that meeting and ask me questions about the training program. That's your time, okay? And some of you who've taken the program back when I first started it almost a year ago, you still have access to that, okay? So, okay, I love the frequent streams. Okay, cool, Armin, cool. All right, cool. Okay, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, so and guys, if you have any suggestions, like Burak, he's not here right now, but he made a nice suggestion about Twitter, because he said, oh, I see you're suffering for low numbers. Maybe you should go more on Twitter. Like, even though that's not the route I'm going to go, I have other plans. I still appreciate, the marketing suggestion. Okay, I can use all the help I can get as far as, hey, I think you should do this because, whatever. Any suggestions, any feedback, anything that not just to help me, but anything that could make your experience better. Okay, if there's some suggestions you have about the chat room, let me know. I have some very interesting plans that it's going to take me a little while to implement, because I'm going to have to pay a programmer to do some things, but I have some interesting plans to really add a lot of quality value to the chat room, to really make it worth the money that you spend on it. And my prices are still cheap relative to other people, but I still want to make the most. I want to provide the most value. I want you to be like, wow, that was worth the $500 I spent for the year. I really want it to be worthwhile, and I have plans. So any suggestions, though, I said, and they're welcome, and you can share them here, okay? And you won't hurt my feelings if you have something negative to say or something constructive. Don't worry, you're not going to hurt my feelings, okay? You don't have to sugarcoat it. Just be like, hey, man, this sucks. No problem. Thank you for letting me know. You're giving me an opportunity to make it better, okay? So I'm not going to, oh man, this guy hurt my feelings. I need to go hide somewhere now. No, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I see it as an opportunity, okay? What I'm learning is, even in the day trade, not reacting. Okay, cool. Doing great, thanks. Learning how to see setups better and making decisions based on price action. Cool. Okay, I like to see that. Right, so you guys are getting some value out of the stream, and yeah, I'm helping you separate. I'm helping you recognize certain things, even in your own behavior. That's where it all starts, by the way, is controlling your behavior. Right, and using information in an objective way. It's very easy to react, and that's an emotional thing. That's a human nature thing, and that's something that we all start out that way. You should have seen how I started out. Okay, I was trained to react. Imagine that. All right, I've had enough of this Bitcoin trade. So here's the thing. I mean, the stop is there. I'm not. I mean, look, you can close this thing if you're in this like, on paper. You can close this thing at 135, and you're up like what 30 points. So this is I'm going to give you the choice. You can close it, take the 30 points. You can keep the stop at break even and see if the market wants to pay more. Okay, based on the 30-minute suggests to leave the stop in place and give the market a chance to pay you more. That's what the 30-minute suggests. It's up to you if you want to follow that or not. In this situation, like if sometimes I just where's the sell-off? If this thing is rejecting, I should see an extension. Okay, I should see this. That's what I should see. That's what the market should do, right? That's the momentum, and I'm not seeing it, which is a concern. So I've mitigated my risk, right, theoretically, by moving the stop. So it's risk-free. If the market wants to tap me out, it's risk-free. I don't care. I don't care about giving back the 30 points or whatever it is. But if you want to just take it. Okay, and you're mitigating your risk and you're getting out a little green, but the reward risk wasn't justified. But at the same time, the probability of the trade is changing. Okay, so don't get stuck on anything. All right, you guys. I think your channel will do much better when the bull market starts. Well, that's true, Alex. That's a good point, because when the bull market starts, everyone gets all excited, right? And everyone's going to be a millionaire and all that other stuff. But I still see plenty of growth in some of these other channels. And I am not employing the YouTube algorithm. I'm not employing it. These streams, the YouTube algorithm ignores my streams, completely ignores them, because it works on a different model, I guess. So I need to make some adjustments so that some of the material in the streams gets recognized by the YouTube algorithm. And I think that's what will help me build my channel. Maybe not as fast as I would like, but much better than what I'm doing now, which is horrible. Okay, so all right, you guys see what I mean about that trade? So break even. We're going to count this as break even. Whatever you do, don't stay in that. And hopefully you're on paper and not real money. All right, you guys. So if I don't have any other questions, let me just look through the channel here. I really appreciate the time that you spend with me. I'm going to be on YouTube and TradingView again at 3 o'clock today Eastern time. Joel, by the way, I don't know if you got my email. I don't know if you're still having technical problems. You may have to reestablish. You may have to start another Discord account or something. I'm not sure, but I also need to make some adjustments to the payment processor. I ran into a whole bunch of problems with it. So, but it's not costing anyone money, which is a good thing. It's not like it's not mistakenly charging people. It's doing the opposite. It's mistakenly not charging people, which is better for you. Okay. Use hashtags. Well, Alex, I researched the hashtags. I researched the YouTube hashtags, and it's not the hashtags that make a negligible or a significant difference. It's not them. So I've researched that. I mean, number one, I need thumbnails. That's like a big thing, which I don't have. And there's also titling is very important. Titles. There's factors like that. And the type of video I make also is judged by YouTube. These streams, even when it becomes a video, still is ignored by YouTube. Okay, so that's really where the problems are. But I do use some hashtags on YouTube, but they're not very meaningful. So, but I have researched that thanks to your suggestion. Okay. Oh, in the description. Well, in the description, yeah. You can also use them in the title, which is something else. Okay. Or try searching for YouTube videos that help you improve visibility. Yeah, with the YouTube search. Yeah. So no, I'm aware. I've done a lot of research on YouTube, so I know what has to be done. It's just a matter of time. That's why these days that I'm taking off, what do you think I'm going to be working on? All right. Anyway, so yeah, and the bear market, yeah, that's part of it too. That's part of it too. All right. So Joel, I hope. So Joel, like I said, you may have to re-establish something there, or whatever. Well, I'll once I iron out my payment robot thing, then we'll work on your situation. But we'll make sure that works out. Either way, you're not getting charged. Okay. So that's the way it looks right now. All right, you guys. So hey, I want to thank you all for your time here today. I hope you got something valuable out of it. I'll see some of you at 3 o'clock. Okay. So enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, and thank you for watching.